In this episode, we'll be going over some layout best practices for effectively guiding viewers. By learning these rules, we can guide our viewers intentionally. That's right, you can actually control the minds of your viewers and have them look at what you want them to look at in a particular order. Clarity is the number one objective. You want to make your intention obvious. This keeps your audience from spending their brain power trying to figure out what they're looking at and allows them to focus on the message itself. Don't assume what you're presenting is obvious. One of the best ways to find out if your layout is obvious is to get feedback from others. Show it to your harshest critics. Show it to people who will be brutally honest with you. This will make you much more aware as a designer. One of the surest ways to bring clarity to a layout is through the practice and understanding of minimalism. Remove anything that is remove anything unnecessary. Less is more. Many beginners try to show off their skills by showing how much they can add to a layout. However, real skill is in knowing what to omit. The great Renaissance man Michelangelo was once asked about how he was able to create his masterpiece, the Statue of David, from a massive block of limestone. And he responded by saying, "I just remove what is not David." In the same way, remove all the possible obstacles from your layout that may prevent your audience from getting what you are communicating. Next, present your content in bite-sized pieces. There's only so much someone can focus on at a time. If you present too much at once, they're just not going to be able to take it all in visually, and the entire layout gets lost. Allow the viewers to give their full attention without being overwhelmed by so much content. Let's look at another example by Apple. In this layout introducing VR capabilities on the iMac, there are really three main focal points on the page. The iMac on the left, the brief text explanation at the top, and the HTC headset at the bottom. Any more and they run the risk of losing their viewers' attention. Consistency is very important in freeing up the viewer's mind. You want to maintain a pattern throughout the entire duration of your layout experience. Keep your style and story the same throughout. If you change up the style halfway through, subconsciously, people will feel like they've left your site, even though they know they haven't. This creates what's called cognitive dissonance. So what is cognitive dissonance? It's when you have inconsistent thoughts, beliefs, or attitudes. So you'll be seeing one thing on the surface and thinking something very different on a deeper level. That's why it's important that you tell a very consistent visual story. Let's check out Spotify's website as a case study. As we scroll through their homepage, you'll notice that they have a very limited color palette, lime green, and variations of golden yellow and magenta, as well as solid black and white. There are only a couple of fonts they use throughout, and even the button styles maintain this rounded corner and flat color look. They've defined very clear rules by which their designs conform. Alignment, both vertical and horizontal, is a secret weapon which will make your layout look instantly more professional. See this layout? See how sloppy it looks? Watch it instantly turn awesome. Voila! You can see we've aligned the horizontal edges, the left and right, and the vertical edges, the top and bottom. To take it a step further, having a grid system in place does wonders to a layout by creating a solid, aligned structure. Here we have 6 even columns. Using them as a base, we can place page elements on them, spanning the different columns to keep everything nice and tidy. You can lay them out in practically any combination and it works pretty well. Let's see this in action with another example layout. Here's a layout for the Japanese clothing company Uniqlo. When we overlay columns, we can see how nicely the elements conform, and the result is a clean, professional layout. The next technique that can make the viewing experience clearer is adding padding, also known as white space, also known as margins. In essence, we're putting more space between the elements in order to create isolation. When elements are closely grouped together, we tend to see them all as a single unit, and we stop seeing them as individuals. But what happens when a single element is isolated from the group? We notice it much more. That's what padding does. If you've ever been to an art museum, you may notice that every piece is given lots of space. This removes any sort of distraction and allows the viewers to completely focus on one piece. Look what happens when we create extra space around these elements in the layout. All of a sudden, the individual rectangles stand on their own much more. Let's look at this in the real world with another example layout. Here we are on apple.com again. See how much space they put around this text? Everything else practically fades away. That was a lot of ground we covered, so let's review. These are all the ways we mentioned that will make your viewers' experience much more relaxing, enjoyable, and simple. Clarity, minimalism, bite-sized, consistency, alignment, grid system, padding. In our second part of Layout Best Practices, we'll be discussing hierarchy, leading the eye, Z-patterns, sectioning, minding the fold, and thumbnails.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that episode. If you did, hit the thumbs up button and be sure to subscribe to get notified about future episodes. Until next time.